Hello everyone, welcome to Shop Dev Tips. So in this video we're going to have a look at the ExpandoObject class in C#. So this is a very simple concept that allows you to do great things. So let's dive deep into the subject. So we start by an introduction. So what are Expando objects? So basically it represents an object whose members can be dynamically added and removed at runtime. These include properties, methods, and events. Okay. Secondly, it supports dynamic binding, that is, allows using syntax like your object separated by the dot operator, your member name, instead of like your object, get attribute, your reflection. Okay. Thirdly, it allows to share instances between languages that support dynamic language runtime interoperability model, example IronPython. Okay, so let's take a brief look at how Expando objects are created and used. So this, you should declare a variable using the dynamic type and assign an Expando object to it. Hence, you can define a property. No need to specify the type, since the type is inferred based on the value that is assigned to that property member. In this case, I have a name property where I assign a string and an age property where I assign an integer. Okay, you can also create methods using action delegates or function delegates. So here, for example, I'm just creating a method that increments the age. Okay, so let's have a look first about the basics of this dynamic Expando object. So basically, you need to reference add the using statement system.dynamic because the Expando object is found in this namespace. Okay, so consider this simple example in .NET. So I've created a dynamic Expando object student, assign the age and name property. Okay, and let's run just for introduction purposes and debug to see what the output is. Okay, and we confirm that there's no exception. Notice that these properties are added at runtime. However, you have the flexibility, okay, to add your name and assign at compile time. Okay, so first thing first. So I'm assigned my name. Let's have a look at the name property. Okay, you have your dynamic view where you can see your age and name, result view, age and name. Okay, so we're printing on the screen. Okay, so should be displaying name, type string, age, type integer. Okay, so this is the output on the console. Okay, now let's have a look at adding a method example. Okay. So here, in this case, I'm adding an increment age method using the action delegate. Okay, so where I'm incrementing the age property. Okay, and hence I'm calling this method increment age and printing the age after the increment. So here, basically the age is 18. After calling this method, the age would be 19. So let's have a look quickly. Okay, so age it will be incremented. So here it is being assigned. See my highlighted in yellow, the code is being executed. Okay, and now the age displayed on my screen is 19. So sounds good. So my next point about Expando objects is adding events. Yes, Expando objects are so powerful that you can even add events to them. But to add the events, you should be creating a member. For example, in this course, I'm creating a course completed and assigning it to null. If you don't assign it to null, when you're executing, calling your event, raising it, it will create like a runtime binder exception. And since the event is not known, okay, so at this stage, if it is not, you don't have this statement at this stage, when your program runs, you'll get this runtime binder exception telling you that this member does not exist. Okay, so the first step, say you're creating an event course completed, you should be assigning to null and then define the event. So before going into more details about this implementation, so what I want to do in this piece of code is that I'm creating an event course completed, okay, and a method set course complete, okay, where in this method I'm raising the event, okay, and when the event is raised, the event handler is being executed. Okay, so simple implementation, course completed, okay, new event handler. Okay, so once I call this course complete, this piece of code will be executed and the event raised and executed. So let's see this with an example here. Okay, let me add my implementation that we saw in the PowerPoint. Okay, so my course completed initialized to null, event handler defined. Okay, method to raise the event, it is called here. Okay, and the event handler, okay, let's put it outside the main method. Okay, so let's run and analyze it step by step. So I'm defining my course completed event, assigning the event handler, defining my set course complete method. Okay, now I'm calling this method to mark the course completed. Okay, the event will be raised and the event handler executed. Okay, so displayed on screen you have course completed for dynamic Expando object. Okay, so that's it for the events. Okay, so simple, like any event handler you have, for example the button you have in the Windows Forms. Okay, and next point, I would like to show you that if you omit this statement, so when assigning the event handler, the compiler throws the runtime binder exception. See, so it's very important that you put your event to null. This allows to tell your Expando object, okay, I have a new member, and here you're initializing it with the event handler. Okay, so bear that in mind, it is very important, otherwise it won't work. Our last point is about enumerating and removing members. Okay, so before talking about enumerating and removing members, so it's good to note that the Expando object class in C# implements an interface iDictionary. Okay, and this is for DLR, dynamic language runtime interoperability, and this for property change. But this is something very important to consider. So here, whenever you add a member to your Expando object, so it is stored in that dictionary internally. Okay, so how, if in case you want to know each member of your Expando object, you can cast your Expando object to a dictionary string object and enumerate them. Okay, this will display all the members throughout your Expando object instance. Okay, and basically the Expando object doesn't have a remove method directly. So, but to remove a method, what you can do is to cast your Expando object to the iDictionary string object and call the remove method of the interface, and your corresponding property will be removed. So let's have a look at a simple example. Okay, let me remove yeah, so here I'll be enumerating through my Expando object. Should be displaying all the properties, methods and events defined. So I have two properties, two methods, that goes complete, increment age, and one event handler. So 5 elements should be displayed. And after that, I'll be removing the name property. I will enumerate again. And should be displaying 4 elements. Okay, so let's run our application. Okay, so see, it has been executed. So I have my properties like name John, age 19, my system, my increment age and set course completed 2 actions, and my course completed an event handler. Okay, now I'm removing the name. Okay, so now should be displaying only 4 elements, 4 members of the Expando object. So see it from here again. I have age, increment age, course completed, and set course complete. So that's it, guys, for the Expando object. Hope you like the video. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel. So for the time being, happy coding and bye bye.